abusing Raila Odinga, kusema ni mchawi, ni muganga, kusema Wajaluo ni ile watu ya kungoa leri, Wajaluo ni watu ya fujo, kusema huyu Raila haendi kanisa, anakuwa na nyoka mfukoni. He was saying all those things for 9 years.
You also said the same thing.
Yes, I did. And I'll tell you. I'll explain to you. Let me finish.
That is fighting.
Yes, I did.
So is that the same position you hold now?
I'm saying.
Mpaka ukasema wewe ulikuwa na kufanya kwa niaba yake pia.
Ngoja kidogo. Simuache.
Na ulisema
kwani mko na fujo, simuache niongee.
Tunasikizana.
No, I can see you are predetermined questions. So also let me answer. So umeniuliza swali.
Okay.
No.
Tunakupatia nafasi ya kuyajibu.
Wacha tukubaliane kwanza.
Okay.
Ukiniuliza swali lazima nijibu.
Kwa heshima na taadhima tunakupatia nafasi ya kuyajibu maswali tafadhali.
So wewe ukisema kitu pia unipatie nafasi.
Okay.
Umeniuliza kwa nini nilibadilisha mafikira. Nimekuambia William Ruto huyu ana shida kwa Wajaluo. Akitukana Rigathi Gachagua na Wakikuyu. Alishinda kwa Wakikuyu akitukana Raila Odinga kusema ni mganga, ni mchawi, ni mtu ya Wajaluo ni watu ya kungoa leri, Wajaluo ni watu ya fujo. Leo alikuwa anasema jana Wajaluo they are intellectuals, they are very intelligent people.
But it is you are talking to Mheshimiwa.
No, but I must give examples because also when you ask me questions
because you must give it the same thing. So I'd like to hear your accountability of the same
Trevor, I must give examples of how leaders go. This is one leader called Rigathi Gachagua. You have said, I also say the same thing is true. Because in our campaign, it's like a choir. William Ruto was a choir master. He was the composer of the song and the soloist. So while choir members wanafuata what the choir master is saying. Yeah, ndiye alituambia hiyo maneno.
Sasa wewe ulikuwa kwa chorus.
Yeah, tulikuwa chorus.
But have you now changed your mind?
No, me now I'm a choir master. So those who are behind me
so
now,
the song has now changed.
I have a different song.
Why should they believe you now
but
that
that was not my song?
It's just a song that you
no,
changed.
It was not my song.
You're still the same chorus and now you're the choir master.
That song was not mine. I was a member of the choir. Choir ilikuwa ya William Ruto. Ya kupiga Raila Odinga na Wajaluo. Sisi tulikuwa choir members. So tunafuata choir members.
Ulikuwa unatumiwa wewe?
We were members of the choir.
But this new song, have you now changed your mind?
I have said.
Why should the people?
I have given you an analogy.
Why should the people believe a choir master or a chorus master who changes tune?
It's up to the people to believe.
It's like they're asking you.
If they, I don't know. They will listen to me. They will listen to me and decide.
You painted the Luo nation as a nation that is chaotic, violent.
I didn't.
In fact,
William Ruto did. It's not me.
It is not me. I'm quoting you. You said at some point that a community has been castigated as people who cause violence every single time.
I've told you.
That was you.
I've told you
directly.
I've given you a very good explanation.
Community.
I've given you a very good explanation that I was a part of a choir and our choir master was William Ruto. And our work was to repeat the chorus from the choir master, who was also the composer.
At what point will you take responsibility for your own utterances?
I am saying
because now you're saying that he's the one who told you to say it.
No, I'm saying, Trevor, we were in politics. And,
are you still in politics now?
Yeah, we're in politics.
So why should they believe you?
I am saying we were having a contest between Raila Odinga and his people. And that was the politics of the day. I am not in politics with Raila Odinga. There is no presidential candidate from the Luo nation who is facing me. So there is no conflict. That was a contest. People are looking for positions. And there is a conflict as it goes on in politics. So they will be trading here and there. Why William Ruto now is abusing me, he was abusing Raila Odinga then because he was his competitor. Today, his most strongest competitor is Rigathi Gachagua. And so he has just changed tact. The way he was abusing Raila Odinga is the way he's abusing Rigathi Gachagua because I'm his competitor.
Do you regret this abusive language that you and your former boss have treated the nation to?
I have not abused anybody myself.
You started this conversation.
I did not start.
Did you describe the president as having lost weight?
I made that description. That description is true.
That is considered body shaming.
There is no apology to make. I described the way he looks. I did.
Chapter 6 of the Constitution and Integrity, Article 73(3), says that state officers should behave in a manner that bestows respect and dignity.
I'm not a state officer.
You've been the second in command.
I am not a state officer. I'm not a state officer.
So are you now allowed then to just abuse your other fellows just because you're not a current state officer? I am not a state officer. You've been the second in command. Do you regret the statements
I have no regret whatsoever for my utterances. I made a true description that our other Kenyans have made. I'll continue speaking truthfully. You know, people say when people who steal, what are they called? They are thieves. People who do this and that, they must be described for who they are. And if anybody has a problem, you can take me to court.
Do you believe that statement is demeaning?
No, it's not.
What do you think it is?
It's up to you to
You've
think.
just,
What do you think? I've told you
I'm
don't.
not the one who made the statement.
I
It's you
I
made
have
the
nothing.
statement. Was it
I have
demeaning?
nothing to say about it. I've said it's a true description of what I see.
What does the appearance of the president have to do with governance?
Well, you'll have to ask him.
You are the one who described him.
I'm saying it's you to ask him why he's so agitated.
But I'm speaking to you, and you're the one who started this
You are the
conversation.
one to ask him why he's so agitated.
Tumekuuliza kwa sababu wewe ndio ulikuwa mtangulizi wa jambo kama hilo.
Are you a lawyer for the president?
This is
Ni waandishi wa habari.
No. You
Kwa
also
sababu-
cannot. Are you here holding his brief?
It's a question that everybody
No.
asks you.
I can
You're
see.
a leader.
Are you holding a
You've
brief
been
for-
the
are
second
you
in
holding a
command
brief for
in this
William Ruto?
country. Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, you've been the second in command in this country.
Can you-
and you're now thinking of being the
Have
head
you-
of this country.
have you
Do
condemned
you
him?
think those statements were regretful?
What I would ask you to, have you as a president, whether he has regret?
I'm
for
speaking
the
to you now,
abuses-
not
for
to the
the abuses
president.
that
We'll
he is
speak to the
having.
president at
Hayuko
the right
hapa,
time. It's you we are
tumekuuliza
speaking
kwa
to.
sababu tuko na wewe hapa na wewe ulikuwa mtangulizi wa
I
hayo
don't
maswali.
think this interview you hold brief for President William Ruto.
We're not holding brief for
In
anyone,
my view,
Mheshimiwa. We're asking you
in
to
my
be
view,
accountable
in
for the
my
words
view,
that you
in my
said.
view, I had hoped that you would ask me issues of development to do with
We will get
immigration.
to that. Let's clear out a few things first.
Kuna maswala
I refuse to
kuna,
answer
kuna
that.
maswala ya uongozi.
I refuse to have you have
Kuna
hold
maswala
brief for William
kuna
Ruto.
maswala ya uongozi na uadilifu. Jinsi
I've already
alivyosema
answered
katika
that
chapter
question. I
6
have
ya
nothing to say to
katiba.
add. That question I've answered. I've
Will
nothing
you
to add.
apologize to the people
No, I
for
cannot.
what you did?
I have no apology to give to anybody.
Let me bring up a soundbite of what you said after this back and forth between yourself and the president. And you said that tumefikisha mahali tulikuwa tunataka. Let's play that soundbite so that you just refer to that conversation.
Sasa nimeona umekasirika vile nilitaka. Mimi nilitaka wewe ukasirike. You lose your temper. You lose your cool. You stop being presidential. Sasa Kasongo amekuja bahari nilikuwa nataka yeye. Ameteremuka chini. He is no longer presidential. Amekuwa mtu ya propaganda na fitina.
Is
Yes,
the politics
true.
of insults what you want?
True. He is where I wanted him.
In the politics of insults?
Yes.
Is that what you want?
Because that's whom he is. He has been on insults all his life. He's been insulting Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta, everybody. He has been trying to be something else. But I know him. I wanted him to come out in his true colors. That's where he is today. Abuse, pettiness, gossip, that's William Ruto. He is where I wanted him to be.
Do you believe that is also describing yourself? Because you're the one who started this conversation. And you've just said there that tumefikisha mahali tulikuwa tunataka.
I have said
Is
I
that the
wanted him.
politics
I
you
have
want?
told you I brought him where I wanted him to be. That's what I wanted.
Na
And he is where I wanted him.
jinsi ulivyonena hapo awali, hii tabia yake ambayo unasema ni kutupa cheche za maneno makali, uligundua lini?
Nini?
Uligundua lini hii mambo ya wakati
tangu zamani.
kitambo sana ama wakati
tangu zamani,
unatuliwa katika
tangu
hatamu ya uongozi?
zamani, lakini nilikuwa nafikiria akipata kiti ya rais atabadilika. Hajabadilika. Hajabadilika. Amekuwa tu vile vuti ya matusi. Alitusi Raila mwaka 9. Sasa amerudi tu pahali alikuwa. Sasa ni kubadilisha tu from Raila to Rigathi Gachagua.
Wewe ukamtusi Uhuru Kenyatta ile enzi, hata Raila wakati mwingine ukamtusi. Tofauti yako kati na yeye iko wapi?
Nafikiri tuongee mambo ya maana ile itasaidia hii interview.
Kuna masuala ya uadilifu na uongozi.
Hiyo nimekataa. Kwa sababu sasa mnataka ikue hii interview ni mambo ya matusi. Mimi nimesema rais amekuwa akinitukana Nyanza for 5 days. Siwezi kuwa na interview kuendelea na mambo ya matusi ile rais anafanya Nyanza. Hiyo nimekataa.
So you don't regret the statements that you made?
I have said I have no regret at all.
Okay.
I have not abused anybody. I have just described a situation that is true and everybody knows it is a true situation. I have no regrets whatsoever.
Okay. Let's talk about this broad-based arrangement. President William Ruto has been forging an alliance with the broad-based arrangement on ODM, which you strongly advised him against, telling them that they will regret working with him. What did you mean by that?
That?
What did you mean by the broad-based government will regret working with President William Ruto?
Well, I was in coalition with William Ruto, and the minute he became president, he turned against the people who elected him. I know him. So mine, I cannot tell the Luo nation what to do. But I can only give a word of caution that Raila Odinga, in his greatness, has one great legacy. He founded, and developed and grew a strong political party. I'm on record publicly saying how I admire, when he was alive and when he's dead, I admire ODM party and the quality of leaders that came through ODM.
Will you be willing to work with ODM?
I don't have a problem with anybody. I have a problem that ODM is on his deathbed. And we want a strong political party. Strong political parties are good for our democracy. When William Ruto decided to work with Raila Odinga was deputy, and I asked him, you had a lot of problems with this man. You told us this man is the cause of all Kenyan problems. You hated Uhuru Kenyatta with all your life and said so publicly for working with Raila Odinga. How come, after having a problem with Uhuru Kenyatta for working with Raila Odinga, you now want to work with Raila Odinga? What has happened? And he told me, we were quite close. He confided into me that we cannot allow ODM to be. We must destroy ODM. So we must get nearer Raila Odinga, get nearer ODM and destroy it so that we are able to govern.
This is hearsay you're saying. So you're saying the president wanted to destroy ODM?
Yes, he told me.
But it is the same party he wants to work with now.
How does that make sense? He doesn't want to work with ODM. He has destroyed ODM. ODM is a pale shadow of his former self. What will happen, and you tell me, this NDC that is scheduled for Friday, that is ODM's last supper, and I hear Ruto wants to attend. Let me be very candid with the ODM followers. That is Raila's legacy. Please don't allow William Ruto to destroy ODM, because I have been in this space before. The only way a region can protect its interests in a government is through a strong political party. My people from the mountain, we are in the terrible situation we are in, I included, because we went to join Ruto without our own political party. And he shortchanged us, turned against us, and can do whatever he wants. If ODM agrees to be swallowed by William Ruto, the people of that region will be at his mercy. And they'll come to cry the way we are crying. So it's up to them. And if they must join William Ruto, because we cannot stop them. Yeah? If they must stop him, if they must work with him, I'll give them a few tips, because it's important that I do so. And if they listen to me, it can help them. If they ignore it, it doesn't matter. But at least I'll have spoken, and it will be on record. If I had listened to President Uhuru Kenyatta, when he told us that William Ruto cannot be a good president and it's not good for the country, this country will not be in the shit we are in. Myself and the people of the mountain will not be in the predicament we are in.
With respect to what's your language, Mheshimiwa?
Yeah?
What's your language, Mheshimiwa?
No, I'm just saying.
It's national team.
I'm just saying we will not be where we are. We will not be where we are. And the mistake we made was to join William Ruto in his party. Since that, we have learned and formed our own party. And we cannot be swallowed or merged with anybody. We'll have to work, whoever wants to have a coalition with us. Our party, the DCP, will have a coalition intact without being swallowed by anybody. So my advice to ODM.
Katia ODM shauri, hii ni chama ambacho kimekuwa katika siasa ya Kenya kwa muda wa miaka 20. DCP is hardly 2 years. I'm
talking as regard Gachagua. It may have been 20 years. I may be nobody, but I cannot be denied a chance to give advice. Maybe you think I'm nobody, but I'm saying I have been with William Ruto. Listen, I've been with William Ruto as his deputy. I helped him to be president with my people. He shortchanged all of us. So I have something that I know that I can share, because I can see ODM is being induced to work with William Ruto. I have some experience that can be useful. Unless you don't want me to share.
Asante.
Yeah.
Asante. Umenena hapo kwamba nyinyi kama watu wa mlima mlidanganywa kwa sababu hamkuwa na chama cha kisiasa. Kumaanisha chama cha DCP ni cha watu wa mlima pekee?
Hapana.
Tukiangalia vyanzo vya sheria,
chama yetu ni ya kitaifa. We won a by-election in Kisa East, in Quisero, that is Kakamega. We won a seat in Narok Township, that is Narok in Rift Valley. We won a seat in Kariobangi North, which is cosmopolitan. But every community has a political home. You know, the Luo Nation, their political home is ODM with other Kenyans. The mountain people, their political home is DCP with other Kenyans. The Kalenjin, their home is UDA with other Kenyans. So every community has a home politically, and that is the way it should be, and it must be that way. But I'm saying, what ODM should do, my honest advice, because I can see it being destroyed, and I can see them along the way crying the way the mountain is crying. One, ODM is owed 12 billion through the political parties fund. If William Ruto is serious that he wants ODM to stand as a political party, John Badi is the CS National Treasury. They should reduce, ODM should demand 12 billion shillings owed to ODM to be released to ODM so that financially they are independent and they can chart their own course. Number two, the president has been to Nyanza and made many promises. He has one budget to go. 2026-2027 financial year. Before the elections and after, he made a lot of promises to the mountain people. Mau Mau roads, this, that. Nothing has been done for 4 years. What ODM must make us reducible minimum. All those projects he has announced, they must demand that money be reflected in this last budget. Because if there is no money in the last budget, yeah? If there is no money in the last budget, that is just a campaign gimmick.
Asante.
Listen, let me say a few things I want to say. That money should be reflected in the budget. And it should not be a token. If the project is 1 billion, you can't put 50 million in budget for the next financial year and say the project is funded. The money must be put in the budget. Number three, whatever relationship, whatever agreement that they want with William Ruto, let them learn from me. It must be made public. If they are being promised that they will be given the deputy president, it must be announced publicly. Whatever they are being promised, there should be a public pronouncement. Because the mistake I made, we did some things under the table in writing, even Musalia, they did the same. All those things were not honored by William Ruto. And I can tell the people of ODM, things they are agreeing with him, they will not be honored unless he makes a public pronouncement. And they should demand early enough so that they have time to look elsewhere in case they are not satisfied with what they are agreeing with him. Number four, and the most important, to make sure that ODM stands. William Ruto had no footage in Nyanza. He had no footage in Coast. He had no footage in Northeastern. He had no footage in Western. If ODM enters in agreement with William Ruto, they must demand that those areas are zoned for ODM so that they have enough members of parliament to be able to go into government with. But if they open up their strongholds to William Ruto and UDA that has no presence in those areas, they will be swallowed. And that is what is happening. Once those things are done, then if they want to enter into a deal with him, they are safe. And I'm just sharing this because, you know, in my community they say, if you are beaten by a black snake, when you see a rope, you run away. You know, a rope that looks like a snake. And I'm just saying, because I can see what is happening, I can see the same deception. The time he is spending in Nyanza, every day he is there, he spent more time, he was 9 years in the mountain. Nowadays he doesn't come. The same script. He was coming to the mountain, promising us goodies, promising us heaven, promising us all manner of things until we elected him. I can see the same script going on. And I have a responsibility as a leader in this country to tell the people of Nyanza, please,
Asante.
I've been through this.
Yeah.
My people have been through this. We are all crying because we were deceived, we were conned. I can see another con game going on. I can see deception going on. Please be aware.
Okay.
And if you don't heed and it happens, please never say Rigiji never told us.
Wacha nikurudishe nyuma kidogo, Mheshimiwa Naibu wa Rais wa kitambo. Hapo awali ulisema huna shida na hii jamii. Unavyozungumza katika ile structure ya uongozi wa DCP, je, kuna yoyote yule ambaye anatoka katika eneo la Nyanza? Swali la pili, kuna wakati ulisema the position ya PS Interior na CS Finance ilikuwa a reserve of the mountaineers.
Yes.
Na bado unatuambia unatupenda?
No,
watu wa Nyanza.
My friend, one, Mable Owino, the Deputy Secretary General in charge of strategy, is a Luo girl from Kisumu, very talented young woman, and she's working with me. When I was appointed Deputy President, my Chief of Staff was George Makaboy from the Luo Nation, a great administrator.
Lakini aliondolewa baadaye akapelekwa mahali.
Ruto alimtoa akampeleka Djibouti, some funny somewhere. Yeah, I loved the guy, and when Ruto found my office was functioning well and he wanted to bring me down, one of the strategies he did to start undermining me was remove George McAvoy. He's a man I had brought to my office. I have total respect for the community and their professionalism. There's something you asked me. You said
CS Treasury.
CS Treasury. Yes, it's true. Just the way ODM is saying Deputy President is a reducible minimum. Before we elected William Ruto, we had some demands and we agreed. And those are positions we negotiated. We had negotiated for National Treasury, CS, for CS Interior, for CS Agriculture. That is the way negotiations are done. And I was just saying, what we negotiated, you cannot take away. It does not mean that I have a problem with whoever I was giving. I was just saying, what we have negotiated, give it to me. Just the way we are saying now, I have heard Governor Mombasa saying Deputy President is a reducible minimum. If they agree that they are given Deputy President, if they are shortchanged, they must complain. That's the way these negotiations go. So myself, I was quite right in saying whatever we agreed, we delivered. You had said, give me your votes, I'll give you this. We give you our votes, and what we gave you are taking away, I'm saying is wrong.
Ukiangalia hiyo ratiba ya wale mawaziri ambao katika baraza la mawaziri ya Rais Ruto, kuna baadhi watu ambao ni wanane kutoka eneo la Mlima Kenya.
Yes.
Does it bother you? Does it worry you?
Not at all.
In terms of representation in the cabinet?
I negotiated for the mountain in exchange of votes. ODM is demanding 50%. Is there anything wrong? You demand, you know, my friend.
This is
where
the problem is.
Politics is a game of interest.
This is where the problem is. So what about the other nations and the other tribes?
But have you asked? Have you asked Oburu when he is demanding 50? What will happen?
That is a conversation they're having, and I'll speak to him when we speak to him.
Yes.
But we're speaking to you now. The Mount Kenya region has about 8 CSs, more than 15 PSs, and more than 300 in this cycle of government in terms of leadership. Is that fair distribution of resources and appointments, considering
my brother Trevor, we had a political negotiation. William Ruto wanted votes from the mountain, 4 million votes. We gave it to him. And we say, in exchange, this is what we want. That's the way politics are done. And that's why I'm saying ODM cannot agree to dissolve. Because if they dissolve, how will they negotiate with William Ruto?
They've not had a conversation of dissolving, but I'm asking you, because you're a leader of the opposition now, and if you have a negotiation with ODM, will you then offer them the 8 slots and the 15 PS?
My friend, the dynamics of those negotiations will dictate what will happen then. We are not yet there. Let's not cross the bridge before we get there. Negotiations are informed by the parameters that exist at that time. William Ruto had been rejected by all other Kenyans except the mountain. He was desperate for the mountain vote. So we also asked him, we are the only people who are willing to back you. Coast rejected him. Northeastern rejected him. Nyanza rejected him. Western rejected him. Nairobi rejected him. Nobody else was willing to back him. The mountain was the only stupid region that could not see through him. We were conned, and we have accepted our mistake, and we are going to correct it. But since we are the only ones who are available to support him, we demanded as much as we could, because that's the nature of negotiations. But now, if we are in a coalition like now, we are with so many other people, I don't think we can demand that much because whoever we are with, we are many of us, you know. But that time, other than the mountain, nobody else trusted William Ruto. They knew him and they knew whom he is.
Do you understand
and history
Yeah.
is repeating itself. As we speak today, only that region seems to believe William Ruto can be anything. And that is why they are demanding 50%. And I think they are quite right.
Yeah.
Because the mountain doesn't want him. Coast doesn't want him. Everybody doesn't want him. So the people of ODM in Nyanza are saying, well, since nobody wants you, can you give us 50%?
Do you understand why people are a bit shy to deal with you because of
Which
the
people are
strong
shy?
language that you use?
Which
Even
people are
right
shy?
now, when we speak about a conversation.
Say you are shy dealing with me.
You have just
Don't
said,
talk about other people.
You've just said the Mount Kenya region were the only people who are stupid enough.
Yes.
That tagging is where the problem is.
No, we were
labeling communities in such a strong language.
I have said that is a feeling in my community that we were conned and we did not see it through the con. We were conned and we have accepted. And that is a mess, is a language everywhere. We were duped into electing somebody who cannot lead, a businessman who has, reaped the country, who has taken over all the businesses in the country, who has ordered abductions and extrajudicial killings, who has spoiled relationship with other countries. We were duped. And when people are duped, how do you describe them? And I have said myself, I was stupid. I have accepted. I was stupid enough not to see through William Ruto. And that's why I'm saying I don't want anybody else to be conned. I don't want anybody else to be duped. I have a responsibility as a Kenyan leader to tell other people whom I can see they are being conned. You guys, you are being conned. I have been through this with my people. We were conned. And if I don't tell you, because myself, I feel terrible because Uhuru Kenyatta had warned me and our people, and we did not listen. And we can therefore not blame Uhuru Kenyatta because he had told us, this man is not fit to lead. This man will make sure there is no country. The same has come to pass in Uhuru Kenyatta's lifetime. I don't want any other community to fall into the same trap when I'm alive and when I have a mouth to tell them. And that's why I'm telling the people of Luo Nyanza, hey, be careful. And if you must go to bed with this man, can you demand the following?
Will you approach ODM and have a conversation around coalitions with them? Because Wiper has given that
coalition,
but DCP has
coalition making is a continuous process. We are waiting to see what happens after Ruto breaks down ODM and what remains and whom we can deal with.
How will he break it down? Because there's been no conversation about dissolving
already,
ODM. It's a conversation for a coalition, a broad-based government.
Junet, Wanga, they have sold ODM to Ruto. It was sold in Kirigori.
There's no evidence.
Did they say
for
only
this.
ODM and what is the evidence to that effect?
I've just told you.
Waliuza chama kwa pesa ngapi?
We know these things, my
if they're
friend. We have been around for a long time.
No, explain this to us.
When Rigiji tells you your wife is pregnant, go and buy
No,
diapers.
let's explain this to us, Mheshimiwa. So you are working currently with DAPK and Wiper and everybody else. Have you bought them?
No, I've not.
So why is it that when UDA is working with ODM, then they've been bought?
You see, they have been bought. That is why they want to kick out Sifuna, the Secretary General of the party.
No, let's talk about
That is
you.
why. No, listen,
So why?
you are asking me why.
Yeah, have you bought this
No,
Wiper
I've not
and
bought
DAPK?
anybody. They don't
So why is building the other coalition between ODM and UDA a matter of one buying the other and not coalition building?
Because the people who sold ODM don't want Sifuna. Because Sifuna has refused to sell ODM to William Ruto. That's why they have called an NDC to kick him out. And that will be the death of ODM. And that's what Ruto wants. He wants to kill ODM. He told me myself that I'll kill this ODM. I cannot allow
Again,
such
that
a
is
strong
hearsay.
party.
So we cannot verify that statement because that was a
Go and
conversation
ask him
between
when
the
you
two
see
of you. How much was ODM bought for?
I don't know the figure, but a deposit
So how
has
then do you
been
know
paid.
it was bought?
A deposit has been paid.
Which,
How
how
much?
much deposit?
What?
How
much
much is the
deposit?
deposit?
That is a story for another day.
No.
So you're the one making the
I'll
allegation.
go and find out also.
You're the one making the allegation.
Ukasema sisi kazi yetu ni labda kujua zaidi.
Pia nyinyi mfanye kazi kidogo, mimi nimepatia nyinyi tip, nyinyi mfanye hiyo ingine. You are also investigative journalists. Go and find out the figure. Okay. And let me tell you what happened. My brother, just open up your eyes. I've done oral literature. I studied Luo customs. Death and burial is a very strong and emotive issue in the Luo nation. Okay? Raila Odinga dies. Before his body arrives in Kenya, ODM has changed hands. In an African setup, and among the Luo have studied oral literature, you don't inherit a man before he's married. ODM, Raila was the leader of ODM. He dies. A team is sent to go and bring his body. Junaid Mohammed conveniently becomes sick. He doesn't go to collect the body. Suluhu gets sick, conveniently doesn't go to collect the body. Oburu, conveniently, the brother doesn't go to collect the body. Before the body arrives, National Executive Council is convened, and the leadership of ODM changes hands. Raila Odinga is inherited before his body arrives in the country and before he is buried. It has never happened in an African custom. ODM had already been sold, and the coup was done even before his body arrived in this country. Yeah? And that is why they want to kick out Sifuna, because Sifuna cannot agree to that scheme.
The statements of the ODM being sold is the one thing you keep referring to, but you can't tell us how much.
Why should we I've asked you,
conversation? And you keep referring to Sifuna, that is one person.
That is
just a fallout with one person.
No, you are low. Doesn't it bother you? That a man is inherited before he is buried.
I'm not the one answering the questions. You're the one answering the questions.
I'm just saying, I'm just throwing a question.
You're the one answering the questions. For
your own mind.
Why would you say it's been bought?
But why don't you? Why are you not asking me to explain?
We're asking you to explain how much was it bought for, and you're not telling us.
Lots of money.
How much?
A lot of.
What was the deposit?
Lots of money.
Is it because one person leaves, then now a party has been bought?
Lots of money.
And I've asked you the same question. Have you bought Wiper and DAPK, the ones you're working with?
I don't know why you want to bring Wiper and DAPK.
Because it's a coalition. You're the one who's told us you've been in politics for long. So we're trying to understand.
I don't know why you want to play advocate for William Ruto. Aren't you bothered as a Luo that ODM is getting finished? You should be bothered. That is your vehicle. That is a vehicle that Raila Odinga developed for the community.
Is it not giving you an opportunity as DCP maybe to be solid and work with?
To do what? To work with ODM.
With the ODM.
I am saying,
and even accommodate.
I am willing to work with like-minded Kenyans, like-minded political parties. But I am saying we are still waiting. We are observing the political space. The destruction of ODM is imminent. Whatever little will be left or whatever will go away, we'll see whom we can work with. The Wanga, Junet, Oburu wing will go with William Ruto. Whatever else remains, because I've seen Akina Sifuna, Akina Babu, Akina Orengo, they are steadfast that they don't want to destroy Raila's legacy. They want multi-party democracy to work. They want a strong political party. The Akina Orengo are very clear that you cannot finish ODM.
Is that the wing of ODM you want to work with?
There?
Is that the wing of ODM?
I don't know what will remain. Let's see what happens on Friday.
You just said that they are
I'm just saying.
And that's the Linda Mwananchi team.
I am listening. I'm listening.
Are you working with them?
I am listening to Orengo. I'm listening to Babu. I'm listening to Sifuna. And I agree with him that we need good, strong political parties for Kenya's democracy. I'm in agreement with them.
So are you likely to work together?
Yeah, why not?
Have you had a conversation of working together?
Not yet, but why not? Politics, as I told you, is dynamic. We can work together.
Okay, yeah. But are you willing to have a conversation with Oburu Oginga?
I have no problem. I can work with anybody. Okay. I can work with anybody who wants to work with us. Okay. We have no problem.
Including President William Ruto?
What?
Are you willing to work with President William Ruto? No,
I'm not willing to work with President William Ruto. He's bad for the country. He's destroyed the Kenyan nation. We had very good education system bequeathed to us by Mwai Kibaki. Free primary education. He has destroyed it. We had day secondary school bequeathed to us by Uhuru Kenyatta. He has destroyed it. We had Leader Mama, destroyed. He has sold public assets, Safaricom, Kenya Pipeline, JKIA.
But all these are being done by the approval.
We have a shell of a country.
But are being done by the approval of the National Assembly.
No.
It's an entity given that mandate to do so.
There is no approval. And by the way, the National Assembly is also captured. Yeah, it's not a house that now represents the people of Kenya anymore. It's a captured house.
Including MPs who are allied to you, you say are captured?
Mine are the minority. The majority have the way.
When did this Damascus moment for you appear? When you now noticed that the person described as your brother is running the country down?
1 year down the line after
you were impeached.
1 year down the line after we came to office. 1 year we had problems.
But you never said anything.
I said it that year. I said it internally.
You only talked about this after you impeached.
I said it internally. But when I was still in office, I said not.
Why didn't you resign?
Why should I? I was not elected by William Ruto. I heard him saying that he gave me an opportunity. He didn't give me an opportunity. I was given an opportunity to lead by the people of Kenya. The person he has given an opportunity is Kindiki. I was elected by the people of Kenya, not William Ruto.
When you were friends, in fact, I'm quoting you again, you had said that President William Ruto, you were not to be known if it wasn't for President William Ruto. In fact, at the time, you were having a camaraderie with him, saying that he's been holding the hands of other leaders, including yourself. Why has that changed now?
That was then. But that does not make me daft. Because I was friendly with William Ruto, I have no brain. The minute I started seeing the country is headed in the wrong direction, I told him no. When I was in office, my friend, if you remember, I called a press conference in Mombasa on 26th of June about abductions and extrajudicial killing and told him off. I said, Mr. President, don't call our kids criminals. These are our sons and daughters. I stood with the Gen Zs when I was in office.
At that point, there was already a conversation about your impeachment.
But don't say, no, that was June. Impeachment came in October. I didn't speak when I left office. When he sabotaged the war on drugs, on the fight against drugs and alcohol abuse, in Nyandarua, I told him on his face, why is your CS Interior and PS Interior sabotaging the war on alcohol? I heard him saying that I was taking money from cartel.
They said you are extortionist.
Yeah, he can say whatever he wants to say. If that was true, it would have been one of the charges of the impeachment. It wasn't. That is an afterthought. After I have really put him to task and I have created a huge one-term movement in the country that is sending him home. The reality of one term has just sunk to him. I have told you, I told him publicly, don't sabotage the war on drugs and alcohol when I was in office. I did not start telling him off when I left office. And one of the reasons why he had to get rid of me is because I was opposing him from within the cabinet. When he brought the finance bill, 2024, I was the only one voice in the cabinet to say, no, this is not acceptable to the people of Kenya, and the people of Kenya will have a problem with it, and we shall have an egg on our face. And it came to pass. I went back to the cabinet, I said, Mr. President, I told you, after the Gen Zs forced him to back down, I said, I told you, you did not want to listen to me. I told you this thing cannot be accepted by the people of Kenya. So this argument that I only spoke after I left office is a fallacy, it's not true. I spoke from inside, and that is what precipitated my removal, because I was bringing oversight and sense, and starting with the people of Kenya from within government. And by the way, that is what the framers of the 2010 Constitution wanted. They wanted a deputy president who is elected and who can check a rogue president from within government. That was the intention of the framers of the 2010 Constitution. They did not expect a robot, an appointed deputy president like the one we have, who cannot say no to the president because he's his appointee. The framers of the 2010 Constitution wanted to bring oversight within the executive so that you have a president and a deputy who are both elected. And since not both of them can go wrong at the same time, if one of them goes wrong, the other one can check him.
Hiyo ilikuwa kazi ya bunge. Tuko na makamati mbalimbali za bunge kuangalia jinsi executive inavyotenda kazi yake, mheshimiwa. Are you trying to rewrite what the Constitution says in terms of its spirit and letter?
I am saying there is something called the letter and the spirit of the law. The letter is what is written. The spirit is the intention. Why did the framers of the Constitution want two elected people, one president and a deputy elected by the people? So that the deputy president has a voice because he's elected by the people. The current deputy president we have is a robot. He's somebody's appointee. There's nothing he can say. Everything is yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
You had said in one of the political meetings when you were still in good terms with the president that wewe ni mtu wake wa mkono, wewe ni Mr. Yes, sir.
I see. Yes, on good things. I was prepared to be yes, sir, on what is true, what is good, what is constitutional, what is within the law. I had no problem. And for the good things that we were doing, I was supporting him 100%. But when he started abductions, extrajudicial killings, I said no. Okay. When he started demolitions and evictions, I said no. When he started theft of public resources, I said no. When he started misappropriation of public funds, I said no. I was prepared to be loyal, yes sir, on things that are constitutional, things that are good, things that serve the people of Kenya, things that are appropriate, and that improves the lives of the people of Kenya. I was more than prepared.
Thank you.
The minute I realized that what was happening is not what is supposed to happen, I said no.
Kuna wakati ulikuwa kama naibu wa rais, wakati chama cha ama coalition ya Azimio walipokuwa na maandamano, tulikuona ukiraukia mapema sana kwa ofisi yako ukicoordinate masuala ya kudeal with mambo ya maandamano, watu waliuawa, watu wakapigwa vibaya sana, mali ikaharibika. Was this part of the script of saying yes sir to the Mr. President?
I was not in charge of security operations. The way the security architecture works in
You
this
chaired a
country,
meeting, Mr.
the way the
Shima.
security architecture works in
You
this
chaired
country.
some meeting in absence of the president.
Yeah. Let me tell you, the way the security architecture works in this country is that the president is the chairman of the National Security Council. He also appoints all the security chiefs and they report to him directly. The deputy president has no say in security operations, except if directed by the president to carry out a certain assignment, or the president is out of the country and deliberately assigns the deputy some duties. That meeting I chaired that one day on a Sunday morning. We had gone to the airport and he was chairing the meeting. At time was going, he told me to continue with the deliberations. Okay. But all decisions on the crackdown on Mandamano were made by the president, executed by Kindiki and Remodomolo. I was a bystander. Going to the office early in the morning was part of my routine. I used to go to the office every day at 5, whether there is Mandamano or no Mandamano. I have found some ODM MPs going to Nyanza to tell people that people were killed when I was deputy president. I was not president. I did not appoint the inspector general. I did not appoint the director of the DCI. I did not appoint Remo Domolo. I did not appoint Kidiki. Those were appointees of
wakati ukasema kwenye kanda kwamba IG wa polisi wa sasa kijana kutoka kwenyu wewe ndio ulimpendekeza kwa rais.
Yes. But he's the appointing authority. You can recommend somebody, but he can take it or not take it.
So did you recommend the wrong person? Is that what you're saying?
Do
you regret recommending the IG?
No, I have no regret. What happened with IG is that the president decided to sack Kenoti, who was DCI. And I didn't have a problem with it or say because he's the president. And I demanded that if Kenoti is sacked, I need a replacement from Meru because that is a position the people of Meru were enjoying. And so Kome was identified and I took part in that identification. But I don't take responsibility for his actions. The fact that I said this guy is okay. But the appointing authority is the one who made the final appointment. I made so many other recommendations which he ignored. Yes.
Okay. Let's take some feedback here. We're about to take a quick break for the highlights here, but there's quick feedback. Ashley Dan says, shame on you, Ramogi, for inviting a tribalist for an interview. How will you shake off this tag of being a tribalist? Well,
to start with, if tribalism is speaking one's language, then Ramogi station should never have existed. Why do you call me to a tribal show?
We didn't call you.
But
you
no, I'm saying why does this show exist?
You requested us to come here.
No, but why does it exist? Why does Ramogi exist?
You are being asked here that there's a tag for you being a tribalist.
What makes me a tribalist?
Shareholding conversation is one of them.
But Guru is talking about shareholding.
But let's not deflect the question to other people. It's you who started this conversation on shareholding.
My friend.
And people believe that you stand for the mountain more than any other reason.
Shareholding